Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz. JJ and Jim with you. You got us all week this week so far.
All week.
Do we know the plan tomorrow yet?
Again tomorrow.
Okay, all right. We are just here with you, and we're becoming old friends, right? Feel free to comment away on Facebook. You can give us a call, 256-234-6221. We'll talk about anything in the world of Auburn athletics. Auburn, big basketball game tonight with Ole Miss. If you don't think it's big, ask Florida how their game against Georgia went last night.
Very much so. I mean, you every game coming down the stretch is really going to count toward not only that one seed opportunities, it's also going to count, of course, your seeding in the SEC tournament. And every team's got to be on edge now because that one game, just like Florida, that one game could possibly bump them from that one seed. Absolutely.
Now, Auburn, I don't think one loss would bump them off the one line. I don't think two losses would bump them off the one line. I'm not sure three more losses. Let's say they lost to Kentucky on Saturday, Alabama the following week, or the following Saturday, and then, lose on Saturday in the SEC tournament. Yeah. I still think they're a one seed. They may not be number one overall.
Right.
But based on their performance in Quad 1 games this year, it's kind of hard to imagine Auburn coming off of that one line. Who are you going to put ahead of them? That's the question. So, but there are, you want to be that number one overall seed. You want to finish strong, and you want to finish the season playing good basketball. That's, I think, the key to everything, right? And if you're Florida now, you go, okay, now we got to look at what we're doing down the stretch. Still got to play Alabama next week, So
sure.
If you're Florida.
And that's where you should see a very great game between those two because it means a lot to Florida to get that game to stay in that one line. It means a heck of a ton to Alabama to stay in the conference run for the championship because they're still in the race.
Yeah.
I think Florida's on the outside looking in now.
Yeah, that's right. It's a two-team race now, which it's kind of been all year. Yeah. Alabama and Auburn have been the two.
And Florida only really snuck into that race when they actually beat Auburn, and that put them on the map.
We discussed this yesterday. The path for the SEC regular season title is easy. If Auburn wins out, they're the SEC champion, period.
Right.
If Auburn lost to Alabama in the last game but won every other game, they're still the regular season SEC champion.
Right.
This game with Kentucky is huge on Saturday. This game tonight is huge. Midweek game next week's huge. They're all big because one loss in there and Alabama runs it, then you've got a game that could
showdown
be a
for
deciding game. Yeah. So,
and that's going to be what you're referring to as the number one overall seed. That's what's going to matter. Whomever wins this league, because we know we're projected to get 11 to 13 teams in.
That's right.
If you dominate this league and win it, you're going to be the one overall seed.
As you should be.
Right.
And no offense to Duke, who I think is a really great basketball team.
Right.
But the ACC is weak.
Right.
They're just weak this year.
I was seeing it last night. They were talking about the average margin of victory was in the 20s for Duke now.
Yeah.
I mean, like they'd beat 8 teams this year over 25 points in the conference.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that if the conference is strong.
That's right. And the ACC, is I think they're projecting like 4 teams in right now. I mean, it's just a weak conference this year, and there's, nothing else really to say about that. But all right, so Georgia, Florida, you watched that last night or caught the end of it anyway?
Yeah, no, I tuned in about the time Georgia was up 26, and I thought, boy, this thing is something else.
Yeah, that was what I was thinking too, and then. Florida comes storming back. Give them credit. They got a 1-point lead, but, Georgia's a bubble team fighting for a spot. Georgia plays Texas next. They're a bubble team fighting for a spot. So that should be a great game. A lot on the line.
I think that last night got them squarely off the bubble. Mm-hmm. I think they're in there. Unless, like, they fall apart these last few games of the regular season, that should have got them in.
I will tell you this. I think if Georgia beats Texas, I think they're in.
Yeah.
I think if they lose to Texas, it gets iffy for them again.
Yeah.
And they're going to have to do some things. Tennessee and LSU. Tennessee wins that game. Another low-scoring Tennessee game, 65-59.
That's the thing you got to look at coming up for Alabama and for Florida. I think both of them's got to play Tennessee. Mm-hmm. It could get dicey the way they play defense.
Yeah.
Because you've had Florida and Tennessee games already go 30-point swings one way or the other.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Tennessee got, and this is their thing, 32 points in the paint to LSU's 20.
Yeah.
They're gonna bang the basketball down there. They're gonna play tough defense, and it's just what they do. And
I can tell you this: if Tennessee scores 65 against Alabama, they lose.
Oh yeah. I would tend to agree with there.
Yeah.
Missouri, 30 points over South Carolina, 101-71. I kind of feel for South Carolina because I've got a dear friend who's a big South Carolina fan, so I know more about them than I probably would otherwise.
Right.
But man, they've played hard all year. They're not a team that goes out there whiffing it, and I think they might be. Missouri was winless in the SEC last year. Missouri now looks like a Sweet 16 team or better. It wouldn't surprise me to see South Carolina be that kind of turnaround next year, adding a couple of pieces.
Yeah,
but Mizzou,
I don't know all their, like you, I don't know all their depth and pieces to them, but they very well could, because if these guys are returning, then they've definitely got a lot of experience.
And you look at their 57.9 from 57.9%. Crazy 3-point number there.
Yeah, check out South Carolina's number from the 3-point line.
2 of 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look.
That's get you beat every time.
Mizzou, and Mizzou is one of those teams, man. They are hot at the right time.
That's the ones I full well expect to make a run in the SEC tournament and in March.
Yeah.
They're going to make a run.
So we got tonight, Ole Miss and Auburn. We got Vandy at Texas A&M. Important game for Texas A&M, not to have a letdown there. Kentucky's got to go on the road to Oklahoma. Again, another important one for Mark Pope in Kentucky. They can't afford a letdown there. Texas and Arkansas, that's one.
That's a good one. Yeah,
that's a good one. There's a lot.
I think he's got them turned. That is Calipari.
Yeah.
I mean, not Calipari.
Calipari.
Perry,
Arkansas.
yeah, Arkansas's coach. He's got them turned now to where they're starting to realize they can play with people.
Yeah.
And I think they're fixing to give Texas all they want.
I think Arkansas is one of those teams that right now is a lot better than their record.
All right.
And I think if they beat Texas, then that Texas-Georgia game coming up Saturday it might be do or die for Texas at that point.
Oh yeah.
All right, so Auburn Ole Miss, we'll preview that game a little bit. If you just look at them, I mean, Ole Miss shoots about 4% less from the field. Ole Miss shoots a little bit, or holds their opponent a little bit better, 41.7, where Auburn holds them to 40.1, so a slight edge for Auburn there. You've got 3-point, 35% for Ole Miss, 36.2 for Auburn. Numbers-wise, it's a game that, favors Auburn, as you would expect.
If the game was played on paper, yeah, that's the way it is. And if you really look at it body for body, I was kind of studying some of it last night, is the front court, down low for Auburn, is really just, they got them outmatched on the size. I mean, they are definitely, Auburn should dominate the inside of that basketball game.
And I think if you're Bruce Pearl right now, and you're down to the last handful of games in the regular season, I think what you're looking for tonight is sort of almost kind of what Alabama did last night. Alabama flexed last night, right? It was like, all right, we're going to show you,
right?
Here's what we got. And I think if you're Bruce Pearl, the last couple of Auburn games, I don't think they've played anywhere near their potential. I think you'd like to see them just lay one on somebody.
Well, I mean, it's like what we just went through with the teams that are making the surge now. Missouri 101 last night, Alabama 111 last night. Florida even scoring almost 90 last night.
Yeah.
The good ones are surging at the right time.
That's right.
They're putting the points up, and I'd be disappointed if Auburn went out and laid a 75 tonight.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of what Auburn fans and Bruce Pearl are going to look for is, all right, now let's start to show everybody. What's the old line from Star Wars? The power of this fully functional battle station, or whatever.
Right.
Because you want to come into the tournament. You want teams worried about facing you. In the tournament.
And that's what's the narrative. And I don't know if you've seen it as much as I have, but the narrative out there nationally is they're pitching it like everybody else is the good ones and Auburn's the bad guys for some reason. Like one time in their life they're riding up there at the top seed, and it's kind of like, well, Alabama's really this team. And for a week I've been hearing Florida's definitely the best team, and then they go get beat by a team we beat twice.
I asked Andy last week if we were overvaluing Florida.
Yeah.
And Florida gets really good guard play. And they get good play down low.
Right.
But the guys down low are not special players. They're good post players.
I think they caught Auburn on a great opportunity to where, like I've been telling Andy all this time, is if Auburn doesn't have, say they show up with a C-plus game, Florida gets them. But if they play an A game, Florida doesn't get them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I think Florida is going to be a really strong 2 or 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. But I don't know that the pieces are there for them to be playing in that third weekend, you know.
And it's the same, you know, if we compared them to the teams we feel like's left, Florida and Alabama, in this run for the championship. Well, Florida, we kind of feel like we know what the deal is there. Alabama, the same way. Auburn really attacked Alabama at home on that three-point line and said, buddy, you're not shooting threes on us.
Yeah.
If you shoot them, you're going to shoot them from half court. That's right. And last night, Alabama got to shoot 45 threes. That's right. When you're doing that, you're not playing defense. You're letting them fling them from all over the gym.
Yeah, you can't. That's the thing about Alabama. You can't collapse the defense. You got to stay out at that three-point line.
Yeah.
And
I think you take with them. You've got to get in Sears' head. You've got to get in Youngblood's head. You've got to get in Holloway's head, and make Alabama play an inside game, because that's not what they want to play.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's, you know, that's what's going to make it so interesting coming down the stretch of this season. Some of the matchups. Alabama and all their scoring, Tennessee and all their defense, right? Mm-hmm. Auburn gets a chance to kind of play Ole Miss, take care of that, go to Kentucky and get Rupp Arena out, you know, in your rearview mirror. But all of those things are just interesting games.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about it. Give you a little rundown on this about the weight room and Hugh Freeze. That's coming up, too. We'll talk about it on the other side here on the Auburn Blitz.
And I still believe college is a lot easier with coaching the pros, because those kids are trying to get to where the pros already are. Right. The guy that's making money, it's hard to tell him when he's already making money.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes. They're installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
Discover great deals on Kawasaki motorcycles, watercraft, side-by-sides, and more. Save big on championship-proving KX motorcycles. Get a great deal on iconic Kawasaki jet ski personal watercraft, or take advantage of big adventure for less with savings on our rugged Terex side-by-sides. There's no better time to save on our exciting lineup of Kawasaki vehicles. Visit Adams Motorsports on the Boulevard today, or see all the Kawasaki products at adamsmotorsports.com, where your pleasure is our business.
Here we go again. Hammering down. High prices at Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika. New GMC Sierra 4x4 crew cabs discounted up to $14,000 off. GMC Terrain with a roomy cabin and pro safety discounted up to $7,500 off. Enjoy the new year with no payments until summertime. Choose from over 500 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way. GlennSmith.com. Get ready to smile.
Stafford gave you permission to speak to other teams about his market value. Stafford will earn $27 million in 2025 on his current contract, and reports that he could be seeking $50 million per year in a new.
To the Auburn Blitz, JJ and Jim with you again today, and again, get well soon, Andy. We'll see you when you get back here. Talking a lot of basketball because here we are in the home stretch, man. It's the best time of the year for college basketball right now as we head towards tournament time. And Jim, we had a comment on Facebook.
Yeah, one of our guys said, or Michael said, I think Auburn has already peaked. Unfortunately, I feel that Bama is in the most dangerous spot headed into March.
All right, so hard to say. You can't tell until the end of the year.
Right.
Auburn last year, when we finished the SEC tournament last year, I was convinced that Auburn was going to the Final Four.
Right.
You can look at my busted bracket from last year to show it to you.
Right.
It turns out maybe they peaked in the SEC tournament. I don't know.
Right.
But basketball teams, I think, can do that, can peak at the wrong time. And then, I'm going to quote Luke Robinson here. I don't do it much, but Luke likes to say that there's a few games where you play at your best. Mm-hmm. There's a few games where you play at your worst. And it's what you do at all the ones in the middle, that's who you really are.
Right.
And I think with Auburn, who they really are is the number one team in the country, and they don't have to be at peak efficiency to win every game. Right. They just don't. There's a handful of teams, some of them in our conference, I think Alabama being one, Tennessee, Florida, get on down to maybe Kentucky on the right day. Duke, maybe a Houston. There's a handful of teams that can hang with Auburn if Auburn's playing moderately well.
Right.
But they ain't many.
No. No, and you brought it up on the show before. Even with Broome not in the picture,
it's a top 10 team.
Yeah, there's still a lot of teams that can't play with Auburn.
Yeah.
But with him in the picture, let's just put, for instance, the last couple of years the championships have been won by Connecticut and Purdue.
Right.
They always had two big men on the floor most of the time.
Yep.
And with two bigs in the middle down there, and you had to deal with that mess, it was either we're throwing it in or we're shooting it from the outside. And when you had to deal with Connecticut doing that, you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the way Auburn's lining up. I mean, whether he thinks they've peaked already or not, I don't believe they've peaked by any means. Mm-hmm. I think last year, like what you said, I think they had a hell of a run where they went through the SEC tournament. Their thing was they just had that momentary letdown of like they're not in our league, so we'll just show up and beat them.
And a bad matchup too. Everybody always talks about this with the Ivy League teams,
right.
But the way the Ivy League teams play, they take you out of rhythm.
Sure.
If you're playing in the SEC and it's up and down, man, and it's flying over the rim, basketball and all that, and you play Yale, they get you out of rhythm.
They want to limit the possessions.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're going to take 40 shots, they want every one of them to go down to the shot clock, and then you take your shot.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not going to agree with the fact that Auburn's peaked, but the end of the year will tell us.
Yeah.
If Auburn's playing not great basketball in the SEC tournament, not great basketball the first couple of rounds of the tournament, then maybe he's right. I don't know.
And to fully answer his question, we really going to know about Alabama in the next 3 games.
No question.
I mean, they're fixing to tell you where they've hit a peak or hit a damn wall.
Tennessee, Florida, Auburn.
Yes. You can't
two of those on the road.
Right. And you can't get any higher in the standings. I mean, they'd have to play Duke. I mean, really.
Yeah.
So you're fixing to find out if they've hit a peak or not.
Yeah, 3 games in 7 days against top-ranked opponents.
The best you're probably looking at a projected 1 seed right now in Florida, a projected 1 seed in Auburn, and possibly if
2 seed,
2 seed Tennessee, yeah. So I mean, you fix and play March Madness in 7 days.
So, and to me, if you're a team like Alabama, you worry about that too because that can wear you out, man.
Sure.
And then you go in the SEC tournament. At least if you perform well, at least you're going to get the double bye, and you don't have to play till later
Friday.
in the week. So.
Yeah.
But we had some news here, story here regarding Auburn football that Andy sent to us. Talking about Auburn having more time than usual this semester to work in the weight room. which is how Hugh Freeze wanted it. Spring practice doesn't start until March 25th, so they've had nearly 3 months to focus on winter workouts. In the midst of that, focus on conditioning. The program's updated the official roster with the latest measurables. So we have height and weight now.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's a thing you want to look at just to see the gains. You know, say like a Deuce Knight that's come in. What is the gain so far since he's been on campus until the fall? Is he really putting on the muscle like he should? Is his body accepting these kind of workouts? You know, you can tell a lot about an athlete.
And I'm going to throw some water on that too, because I don't trust coaches' measurables. I don't. There's one set of measurables I trust, and that's the ones that the official ones at the NFL Combine.
Right.
I think those are spot on. They're going to get those right.
Well, and I've been to an NFL, like I told Andy on the show before, I've been to an NFL scouting combine thing, not to the actual combine, but to a place where they train everybody that's going in to be scouts.
Yeah.
And I've sat in a room with 30 other guys that were training to be scouts and watch what they do. And they literally measure your wrist and your ankles and they project like, okay, can he get bigger as he grown into his peak? Can he? I mean, they analyze everything from your shoe size to your hat size.
That's right.
And they want to know it because they know what style of game they're fixing to play and how long you're durable and how long. I mean, they know your bone density because they know how long that bone's going to hold up.
That's right.
Yeah.
But there's some notable ones, some ones to look at. Quintrell Jameson-Travis up 12 pounds to 305.
Mm-hmm. And that's if you got a guy like that, it's going to play in the interior. You want some beef in there because you got to stop up some running lanes.
I can't imagine a defensive tackle in the Southeastern Conference playing under 300 pounds.
Right. Well, you'd be pretty damn quick.
You'd have to be quick, and you'd have to be tough as nails, too.
Right.
Defensive tackle Favor Edwin up 12 pounds to 313. Or the offensive tackle, I'm sorry. Offensive tackle Xavier Miller, 311. That's up 10 pounds. Defensive tackle Malik Blockton at 301. He's up 10 pounds. Guard DeAndre Carter is up 9 to 354.
That's a big old boy.
Edge Jamonte Walker at 254. He's up 9. Linebacker DeMarcus Riddick has put on 7 pounds to 224. And DJ Barber, linebacker, 233. He's up 7 pounds. So you've seen some gains in there in the interior, some important positions there.
And that's what you want to see in that interior position. You want them putting on it, but you want it to be muscle because they're going to have a long grind of a season, and they need every bit of that they can get.
And some of that, too, is going to be carb loading. They're going to eat really good.
Yeah.
And during the season, when the season comes around, some of that weight's going to drop.
You got no choice. You got some water weights you're going to drop being out on practice field every day and then on Saturdays. But then, don't think for a second them boys ain't eating right now.
Oh, I guarantee you, yeah.
They're feeding them. I mean, and I've told Andy before, the way that dietary program is set up there, you got colors on the wall.
Right.
And if they say, well, let's just pick one, for instance, Favor Edwin here, and he's 313. Well, if they want him to be 320, they're going to say, you can only eat from the blue categories. You cannot eat greens. You cannot eat red. They make them specifically come in there and, okay, buddy, you got to eat from this because you got to gain weight.
Between my junior and senior year in high school, my high school coach wanted me to gain 15 pounds.
Yeah.
So you know what he told me? Steak and keg beer. He's like, don't drink none of that light beer.
Now, I'm going to say that fella had to be in a fraternity.
We're going to step aside, take another break. We'll come back. More of the Auburn Blitz on the other side.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit Sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Presley Appliance and Furniture, located on Cherokee Road in Alexander City, is locally owned and operated with over 35 years of experience in the appliance and furniture business. Specializing in Amana, Whirlpool, KitchenAid, and Ashley Furniture, Presley Appliance services what they sell and will make sure you receive top-notch customer service. Call them today at 256-329-9762 or drop by to see them on Cherokee Road in Alexander City. Presley Appliance and Furniture, where they service what they sell.
Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply is your headquarters for all the brands contractors know best. We're your local home improvement store with 9 convenient locations throughout Central Alabama. We have a huge selection of Weber and Traeger, Pelican coolers, Milwaukee and DeWalt tools, and other top brands. No matter the project, we have you covered with our high-quality lumber and building supplies. From do-it-yourselfers to seasoned pros, Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply has what you need to get the job done.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind? Welcome to Bunkers. Our friendly staff and vibrant atmosphere make Bunkers the ultimate hangout space for all ages. With 6 state-of-the-art golf simulator stations, you can play around with friends no matter the weather. Enjoy mouth-watering food and a wide variety of handcrafted mixed drinks. With our attached parking deck, access is always hassle-free. Make your next night out unforgettable at Bunkers.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
Every business gets the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus. New customer, loyal customer, the new Samsung Galaxy.
The Auburn Blitz, JJ and Jim with you. I thought the screen was turning, but it didn't turn there. It just stayed on the logo, which is fine. I could keep talking anyway. Welcome back. We're going to change the subject just a little bit here. We're going to talk a little Auburn baseball, which is off to a pretty strong 8-1 start. Had to win over Troy last week. Had some notable wins in there. Got a win over Sanford, 15-8 in that one with let's see, you got freshman Andreas Alvarez goes 3 1/3 innings, gives up 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Senior John Armstrong goes 1/3 of an inning. Senior Parker Carlson gets the win. He goes 2 innings and 2/3, gives up 2 hits, 1 earned run with 3 strikeouts. So 15-8 win there as they move into this weekend, going to play a pretty big tournament in Arlington, Texas, the Amagi Bank College Baseball Series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's going to be a pretty good, like a lot of teams know, these first few games are just games that you want to get out there and just roll the ball out and play some ball.
Yeah.
You're not really, me and you can't put a prognosis on Auburn's fixing to be a great team in the SEC by watching them play Samford.
No.
And these kind of schools. They need reps. They need, like I told Andy last week, they need to find out these pitchers. Who's going to be your Friday night starter? Who's your Saturday guy? Who's your Sunday guy? And if these first few weekends of playing they're not performing, then maybe one of these midweek guys get bumped over into those roles and start taking over.
In that tournament on Friday, they'll take on Ohio State at 3 o'clock. Saturday, they've got Oregon State at 6. 3-2 on Sunday, they'll get Baylor at 3 o'clock on something called Flow College.
Okay.
I don't know that I've sseen it, but.
And you got the Ohio State game they're taking on. Ohio State is 1-5. The number 8 Oregon State is 5-2, and Baylor will be 6-1 in those ball games.
Okay, so baseball season just kind of getting going, and Andy will tell you because I always say the same thing. I don't know how good any SEC team is until they start playing each other.
Right.
Because there's too many seasons where a team comes out, oh man, they're 15-2 or something, and then they open up 0-6 in conference, so
right.
I just don't know until we get there kind of where that stands.
Well, that's what you want to, like you said, enjoy getting ready for the season, and that way when that conference time opens up, you got to get, because it's usually, projected either 12, 13 wins in the conference to get you into that SEC tournament.
Yep.
And if you make the SEC tournament, you're going to make a run in the World Series, not to the World Series.
So NIL as it affects baseball, is an interesting conversation to me because baseball doesn't produce the revenue that football and basketball do. So you're not going to have the number of NIL dollars devoted to it that you would have to the other sports, right?
Right.
So the question to me is, does NIL make it possible for a state like Alabama to level the playing field? For years we suffered without having an education lottery in the state, not being able to use that to offset the fact that baseball scholarships are not full scholarships.
Right.
So other states could use that money to offset that with the Hope Scholarship in Georgia and various other things.
Sure.
And we were never able to do that.
And that's the way Butch has always approached it, is he's been able to say that same thing basically out there in the media and say, look, I'm battling with a Florida, I'm battling with a Georgia that gets these scholarships and gives these kids, and they got 40 on the team and everybody's taken care of, and I'm over here busting all mine up into a quarter, a half, a three-quarter scholarship.
Because you got 11.5 scholarships or whatever the number is.
Yeah.
To give out, I just wonder, does NIL make it possible to offset some of that?
Well, sure.
I
was just flicking here, looking on the internet while we were talking about that, and there's a major article with AL.com. Auburn baseball coach wants to increase the NIL investment to solve his pitching woes.
Yeah. There you go.
I mean, he answered all of it.
Yep.
If he knows that he's that far behind, like last year, we played a lot of 1- and 2-run games, but we didn't have a Paul Schemes. We didn't have that major dominant pitcher out there. So he knows, just like anybody else does, I got to go spend some money to get a pitcher.
Well, and the question is, it's like, it's not a matter of, to me at least, whether it's a right or wrong thing. I just always wanted to be fair. So if I'm out there with 11.5 scholarships and, Georgia's out there with 11.5 scholarships, but, I could offer full rides to, guys on the Hope. You do that, it's not a competitively fair system. And I don't consider it in terms of, so to me, I still don't know, if you can balance it out completely. I don't think it balances out completely, but I get what the coach is saying. I need more NIL because I've got to offset this other loss.
Until the scholarship things get worked out. And on top of that, because now there's money available at these bigger schools, if I'm a Texas and you're a great kid coming out of high school, I'm going to go out there and get you, because you being MLB guy, you know this as well as anybody does. If that kid in high school is throwing high 90s, they're trying to get him into minors right away.
Right away,
So,
yeah.
and Butch has made the statement before, because I've hung around him and heard him say it. He used to be, before all this came about, was if you can go sign a contract with the MLB right out of high school and they're going to give you $500,000 or more, even $1 million signing bonus, go. You can't make that money anywhere else. Now you could make it staying home.
You know, it's probably a story for another time, but a friend of mine, a friend of a friend from Thomasville, Alabama, was kind of caught in that situation. He was a hell of a pitcher, and he was drafted, but his dad wanted him to be the first person in the family to go to college, and so. You know, the MLB came calling. His dad said, no, my son's not signing. He's going to college. He's going to be the first member of the family to go to college. They came back with another offer, and it was bigger. Dad said, no, he's going to be the first one to go to college.
Yeah.
The third time they came back, the offer was so big that the other members of the family had to sit Dad down and go, Dad,
think about it.
This is more money than he'll make in his life if he goes to college and doesn't play baseball.
Right.
Like, you know.
That's the key to make baseball. You're in such a window that the kid could possibly go make $1 million signing bonus, and at that point you got to let him go.
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is. And this was back in the early 90s.
Because we're throwing around $1 million in football. They're not going to throw $1 million around in baseball.
No, they are not. We'll take a break. We'll come back here on the Auburn Blitz. More to come. Stay with us.
This is Joseph Dean with Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory. I'm pleased to announce that Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is now open to serve the public at our location on the corner of 49 North and 280 West in Dadeville. Please stop by and see lifelong resident of Dadeville, Molly Kaler, who will be running the office and meeting with families who want to plan ahead and pre-need their services. We are also available by phone 256-750-0381 or online at lakemartinfuneralhome.com.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Looking to transform your outdoor space? Look no further than Bama Sheds. As a family-owned and operated business, we understand your needs. That's why we offer no credit check, rent-to-own options. Enjoy free delivery and setup within 35 miles of our 4 convenient locations. Whether you need a shed, pole barn, garage, or carport, we've got you covered. Visit our website at bamasheds.com or call 256-268-8484. Bama Sheds, where quality meets affordability and your outdoor dreams become reality.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life. EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Are you ready to showcase your skills and compete with the best in Alabama? The 42nd Alabama State Games are coming to Birmingham and Jefferson County from June 13th through the 15th, and it's your chance to be part of something incredible. Athletes from across the state will compete in sports ranging from archery to wrestling. Those participating in the opening ceremony are eligible for academic scholarships ranging from $500 to $5,000. Mark your calendar. Registration opens March 1st. Visit allagames.com.
When you want quality, selection, price, superior financing, and a pain-free buying experience, look no further than Sons Automotive Group of Montgomery and Auburn. Sons of Montgomery offers the best selection of Kias, Chryslers, Dodges, Jeeps, and Ram trucks. Conveniently located on Eastern Boulevard, Sons Ford of Auburn is the region's Ford volume dealer. And when you shop at any Sons location, they will maximize all incentives and financing options for anyone's credit. Whether Kia, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram in Montgomery, or Ford in Auburn, Sons Automotive treats you like family because they are family driven.
Blitz, JJ, and Jim with you here for a little while longer today as we wish Andy good health, get on back and get to feeling better. And thanks for the information, Andy. So we were talking during the break, kind of getting on some football talk. Brandon Marcello yesterday, well-known writer. I think everybody follows SEC football, has read Brandon stuff. Rated Hugh Freeze as the hottest seat in the Southeastern Conference coming into this season. Does that make sense to you?
I mean, I would kind of tend to agree with him a little bit because you've spent a lot of money in this offseason, and people that are putting into this program, they want some return on that investment.
I think there's a couple of ways of looking at it. I think the first year, I don't think anybody was upset at whatever occurred. Right. You got to take out some trash. You got to rebuild the roster. Yeah, it's 5-7, 6-6, whatever. It is what it is. The second year, I think everybody really wanted to see a 7-5, right? Show me a 7-5 that goes to a bowl game and maybe wins a bowl game to get to 8-5 or whatever, and kind of hope for the next year. So the discussion is, did Hugh Freeze come into year 2 and decide to stick with his quarterback instead of going to the portal because he knew the roster needed another year of building?
Right.
And I can go out and get Cam Ward, but I'm going to win 8 or 9 games. Everybody's going to go, yeah, we won 8 or 9 games. But then Cam Ward's going to be gone. I'm going to be right back here where I was.
Well, and he alluded to that in his very beginning press conference of coming to Auburn from day one. He was like, my 24, my 25 classes is going to produce what we got to have in 26. And he said that 26 is going to be the benchmark of where we need to get this thing going in the right direction.
And I think that's kind of where, and I know all summer we'll get into this. What is a reasonable expectation? You pulled up something a minute ago.
Yeah.
A Feinbaum is.
Yeah, Paul Feinbaum has predicted Auburn to be a playoff team next year.
I mean, that's a hefty goal.
From a 5-7.
From
that's
a 5
big
and
jump.
7.
Yeah,
it's a big jump.
Now you've went out and got out 2 offensive linemen. You've beefed up your corner, your tackles basically. You've got good guards that are already there and produced this year. You got All-American center sitting there. So your line, there should be no excuse about the line giving up what it did last year.
Right.
Then you went out and got you not 1 but 2 5-stars and an Arnold and Deuce Knight that are going to be on your quarterbacks. That somebody's got to work that out. You've went out there now and you got you 3 5-star receivers. You got a bunch of 4-star receivers. The cupboard is loaded with people that can play offense.
Right.
And if he can't come back to the press conferences like he did last year and go, well, look at our stats. We threw 350 yards, but you lost, Coach. You can line up Lamborghinis in the parking lot all you want, but at some point they got to perform.
That's right.
You know, that's where I think he is right now. I think he's a great guy. I love him and see what he's doing with the kids on a daily basis. He's a real good family man and likes helping them in their life. But at some point, the people that pay it, writing his check, they want W's. They don't want 5 and 7.
Listen, everybody I know that knows him will tell you Mike Shula, one of the sweetest people on earth.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the nicest, most wholesome guys you've ever met.
Right.
Couldn't coach football.
Right.
Not as a head coach. Now, I think Hugh Freeze has proven that he can be a successful head coach because he's done it.
He's done it, yeah. Right
now, it hasn't translated at Auburn yet. And you know, there's all sorts of, you know, the discussions we had them all last fall has college football scheme-wise gone past where he was 10 years ago and evolved to something that he has struggled to keep up with. I don't know.
I 100% agree what happened to Gus.
Right.
Gus come in with a new system out of high school and started doing all this NASCAR offense and running them to the line and get going, run 90 plays in a game. It blew him away for a couple years. Everybody's like, God, what is he doing? Now it's caught up to him, and you even see him when he was at Central Florida slowing down a little bit, calling plays and getting to it.
Well, you've got to adjust to the adjustment, right? That's you know, we were talking about Major League Baseball earlier. Same thing with pitchers and hitters, right? Hitters are going to adjust to the pitchers. The pitcher has to adjust back to the hitters, and, and around and around.
Well,
and
and that's
we go.
You know what we've been beating on all this morning is talking about basketball. Basketball is the same way. You know, they're going to come out in this game tonight, Ole Miss, and look at Auburn and go, okay, the last time we met, we did this and it worked. Right. They're going to do some of that, but then they're also going to do something different just to throw Auburn off a little bit. You will see a lot of switches, maybe a lot of screens, a lot of something. So football's got to be the same way. Is they've seen what Auburn with their, me and Andy's kicked it around a bunch, with their 3 coaches that was calling offense. You had one calling first down, one calling second down, and Hugh Freeze jumping in on third down or giving his opinion. I think you scrap all that. He needs to be the guy holding the play sheet. That's what got him here. He's worked his way all the way up as an offensive coordinator. Be the man, call the plays, and ride with it.
I think when you get to the point where you're at a turning point season for you, and this is a turning point season for him. I don't know what the minimum number of wins, whether it's 7, whether it's 8, but there's a minimum number of wins that he's got to get to this year. If that's the case, and you know, I know offense, well, it's on me this year, guys. I need your help scouting. I need your help game planning, but
it's on me.
It's on me.
Right. And that's where, you know, we even saw it in his first year when they blew the bowl game because he was out recruiting. He even admitted, I didn't spend a lot of time with them, thought they could handle it, and we looked like an absolute high school team out there playing. And I agree with you now in the sense of he looked over last year he said, well, I looked out there in the portal and I didn't want to spill $1 million on the quarterback. Well, because you didn't, the guy you left there lost you Oklahoma. He lost you other games. That was on him because he made a bad read at the wrong time.
Yeah. And then you wind up now in a situation where
think about this scenario. You were 5 and 7. What if that team last year was 7 and 5? You got a different outlook.
No, you would be coming into this year going, well, they've upgraded the quarterback, they've upgraded here, 7 and 5 last year, 8, 9, 10 wins, something like that. That's what you're looking at.
Right. I find what Paul Feinbaum said very believable. You're a playoff contender. 7 and 5, and you make a bunch of upgrades, but 5 and 7 and make upgrades. We don't know what these upgrades are going to do.
Yeah, and you know, so much of it's going to come down to how the quarterback position's managed, and we'll see how that goes.
That's right.
We'll take a break. Come back. One last segment here on the Auburn Blitz. Stay with us.
J.A. Smith Construction, licensed general contractor and your trusted choice for land clearing and grading, site work, underground utilities, concrete paving, and material hauling. They also do storm drain installations, fish ponds, and slough dredging. Call Alexander at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. No job is too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction, the top choice for all of your land service needs.
For air that's cool and clean, call Sensi Green. For air that's cool and clean, care about the air you breathe, call Sensi Green.
Turn to the experts at Sensigreen and find out how to get up to $1,000 in carrier cool cash rebates. Visit sensigreen.com today to be worry-free when it comes to your home comfort and indoor air quality.
For air that's cool and
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Centricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama. Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Are you ready to showcase your skills and compete with the best in Alabama? The 42nd Alabama State Games are coming to Birmingham and Jefferson County from June 13th through the 15th, and it's your chance to be part of something incredible. Athletes from across the state will compete in sports ranging from archery to wrestling. Those participating in the opening ceremony are eligible for academic scholarships ranging from $500 to $5,000. Mark your calendar. Registration opens March 1st. Visit alagames.com.
Good evening, or afternoon, I should say evening. Here I am. Welcome back to the Auburn Blitz. JJ and Jim with you again today, and thanks for being here with us. And watching wherever you watch, Facebook or whatever. Want to thank our sponsors. How about Russell Do-It Center? 9 locations. Alex City, Auburn, Clanton, Dadeville, Eclectic, Harpersville, Prattville, Roanoke, Wetumpka. The place to go when your DIY project needs a little help. All of mine need a lot of help. J.A. Smith Excavation and Construction. You could call them at 334-531-0199. No job too big or too small for J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation. Sense Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. You'll find them at 334-487-3555. You don't want to be without good heating and cooling system at this time of year.
You know, we're getting some air now this time of day, or this time of year, that we can open up the doors and the windows and let you some fresh air come in.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not out of the woods yet that we typically, here where we live, in that late March, early April, have another freeze coming.
You know we got one
coming. So you want that heater working.
And, of course, our buddies in Auburn and Montgomery at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. And whether you want to cook it yourself, whether you want them to cook it for you, the sides are always amazing. They do great fish. They do these specials where they have boxes with the Conecuh burgers and the pork chops and you can load up and get a really good deal and really top of the line meat, great food at Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Good folks over there. All right, so let's get into Auburn Ole Miss tonight. I kind of expect Auburn to do a little flex tonight.
That's what
like I said earlier, maybe an 85-59 kind of thing.
Okay.
Something like that. And really kind of start to gear into, Auburn does not have the toughest stretch at the end of the season, that Kentucky game notwithstanding. So it's a chance for them to kind of, all right, let's play at a high efficiency for these next few games so that we're ready when tournament time comes.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with you. So if we were going to throw it out there, I think the line is either 11 or 12 for tonight.
Okay.
Obviously, it sounds like you think they're going to cover.
I think they're going to cover, yeah.
So you would project them to come out and really do what they've been doing all year, have a strong defense. But Auburn hasn't been one so far this year that's typically like an Alabama or Missouri that's throwing up that 100.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it's going to be somewhere in the high 80s.
Yeah.
And Ole Miss will have somewhere in the 50s to 60s,
Yeah.
like 60s.
Yeah, something like that.
So a 15 to 20 point win.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm looking at. It's what I think is going to happen. Well, we'll see. Either way, it's going to be something interesting to talk about tomorrow. And if you're looking at Auburn, you're just hoping that, okay, no letdowns this time. Don't let one sneak up on you.
This time tomorrow, you should have a little better read on Auburn's one game closer to winning the league, and getting it done because of Florida taking the stumble they took. Or if Auburn happens to take that stumble, then you're talking about, wait a minute now, Alabama's in the driver's seat. And coming to Auburn, all they got to do is win that Auburn game, and it's over.
Yeah, Alabama's still got Tennessee and Florida to deal with, too. So.
Right.
All right, so let's get into a little this day in history. It was on this day in 1967, Mario Andretti won his first and only NASCAR Grand National event. He won the Daytona 500. Only time a driver born outside the United States has won the race. And I think anybody kind of our generation, and Mario Andretti was the, name in racing for 30 years.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Forever. On this day in 1989, the Dallas Cowboys fired Tom Landry after 29 years on the sideline.
That was a very iconic coach for them that he walked a lot of sidelines for the Cowboys.
And, Landry, one of the greats of all time, and Jerry Jones, new owner, wanted to go in a different direction, so you replace him with Jimmy Johnson. It worked out.
Now it seems like they go in a different direction every other year.
Now I think Jerry's lost his touch a little bit now. So, it's funny. Here's a guy that's worth billions of dollars, but you've got Jim Harbaugh making $16 million in San Diego. You've got McVay in L.A. making $15 million. And Jerry Jones is out there going, "There's no way I'm paying $15 million for a coach."
Right.
He's just not going to do it.
Yep.
So, it is what it is.
He sounds like he's been hanging around Hugh. I'm not going to spend $1 million for a quarterback.
There you go. All right, happy birthday today. Levi Strauss founded the first company to manufacture blue jeans.
All right.
Born on this day in 1829. Born on this day in 1887, Grover Cleveland Alexander, Hall of Fame pitcher with the Phillies. Born on this day in 1916, one of the funniest people that's ever existed on earth, Jackie Gleason.
Oh, yeah.
Born on this day in 1916. Died in 1987. Tony Randall from The Odd Couple was born on this day in 1920. Fats Domino. I found my thrill on Blueberry Hill. Born on this day in 1928. Vic Janowitz, born on this day in 1930. He's a Hall of Fame halfback, 1950 Heisman winner with Ohio State. Born on this day in 1932. This one's close to my heart here.
Uh-oh. So you're saying you were born in 32?
No. The one and only, the great Johnny Cash.
Oh, yeah.
On this day in 1932.
That's one of, most people, if they hadn't seen it out there, the movie they did about him was really, really cool.
Really fantastic,
yes.
Yeah. Johnny Cash is the only artist that has been inducted in the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the Gospel Music Hall of Fame.
Wow. I didn't know the gospel was in there. I knew the other two.
Yep.
Wow.
Michael Bolton.
Yep.
Born on this day in 1953. Interesting story about Michael Bolton. I thought this. All right, so Paula Abdul. Everybody knows who Paula Abdul is.
Mm-hmm.
When she was a youngster, when she was a child, her parents had a babysitter that used to babysit her. It was Michael Bolton.
Wow.
Michael Bolton, as a teenager, was would babysit for extra money.
Paula Abdul.
Would babysit Paula Abdul.
Wow.
Let's see. Born on this day in 1968, J.T. Snow, first baseman for the Giants. And finally, born on this day in 1973, I think maybe one of the underrated running backs of all time? Marshall Faulk.
Yeah.
Born on this day.
When he's San Diego State?
He was.
Yes.
San Diego State. I mean, that guy in college was unfair.
He could play it.
He was great in the NFL, too. Marshall Faulk.
Oh, yeah.
Born on
Rams.
this day. Yeah, Rams.
Yep.
All right, so it looks like we're back in the chairs tomorrow. We'll be here at noon, and we'll do another edition of the Auburn Blitz. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to everybody for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.